Hey guys, Rex here. Really sorry for the delay in uploading and the big gap between the two videos. My last video and this one. I was caught up in other things, but anyways, what I want to discuss in this short video is explaining the trigonometric ratios, which fall under trigonometry. Now trigonometric ratios are basically there are three ratios which one may encounter, which is known as sine, which is short for which is expanded for sine. The short form is sine itself, and then we have cosine, which is then further written as cos, and then we have tangent, which is further written as, in short, tan. Now how do you know when to use these ratios? Or before that, let me give a background on these ratios. Let's see that. Okay, so these trigonometric ratios, it's best to use them with a right angle triangle. You'll find yourself way suited, and you won't get into any trouble with using these ratios in a right angle triangle. Now, this is a right angle triangle, a rough one at that. Now we know that this is the hypotenuse and this is the right angle, and suppose we have to find an angle opposite to the right angle. We call it x. So angle x, or theta as in mathematical terms we call it. Now theta is an angle of which the opposite is the line adjacent to the right angle. I mean this line right here. So the line opposite to this angle is right here, and the line adjacent means conjoined or joined together, like say like this. So these two lines are adjacent. That means that even though they're perpendicular, but we count an example. So the line adjacent to x is this line, the base of the triangle, right here. So when you want to use trigonometric ratios, they have basic principles, or they have basic calculations. So for sine theta, we have theta is basically it stands as a variable for all the angles, so you don't need to worry about that. So sine theta is actually the opposite of the angle divided by the hypotenuse of the triangle it falls in. Similarly, for cos, we have cos theta, we have the adjacent to the angle divided by the hypotenuse of the triangle it falls in. And finally, for tan theta, we have the opposite of an angle divided by its adjacent line. So how do you memorize all this? And better yet, how do you know when to use all of these? Now, well, like I said, there's an easier way to memorize all these ratios. So you have an acronym for this. You see, you have a short form which basically goes like so, ga, tua. And you might be thinking that, oh my god, this is again, it's very complicated and stuff. But trust me, as funny as it sounds, as tangy it is pretty easy to understand because of its funny sounding. So it's so ka toa. So that is sine theta is equal to opposite upon hypotenuse, cos theta is equal to adjacent upon hypotenuse, tan theta is equal to opposite upon adjacent. Now the big question is, how do you know when to use any of these trigonometric ratios? Well, the basic and the most simplest answer is the sides which are given in a triangle, they indicate which ratio to use and when. So for example, we have a triangle, right angle triangle, and we have the right angle right here, but we want to find an angle say y, so we need to find angle y. and they have given us, or we have a triangle with the measurements say 35 centimeters. We have 35 centimeters, and then we have 7 centimeters, right? So now you know that first of all your angle is y, right? Okay, your hypotenuse is what? Your hypotenuse, let's note down all the measurements we have. Your hypotenuse is 7, and your opposite is what? 35. Therefore, if you look at it closely, we have what? We have the hypotenuse and we have the opposite. So it is pretty clear that we need to use sine, because in any other ratio there is no other combination of dividing the opposite from the hypotenuse. It's pretty clear. So if you divide this, you obviously get sine y is equal to 35 divided by 7. So that's the main course.